with Ron. Movies with Ron.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Movies with Ron.
Fine. Let's do A-roll.
So I was
Let's do A-hole.
A-hole.
I was getting on the highway, getting on the entrance, but they're the same road. The people turning left onto the same entrance. So, I got a yield sign, and it's 2 lanes coming. So there's no merging going on here. So I stop. I yield, right, and I'm waiting. But then this dude in this big pickup truck behind me pulls out around me and merges in. But right as I had clear room, right?
Right.
So I start going, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I beep my horn. And when I beep my horn,
It's like, me.
it's an ocean of noise. It's like I'm very generous with my horn. The dude looks in his mirror, side mirror, starts blowing kisses at me. You know what that means. Oh man. So I try. A car has ended up being between us. Right? I try to go around that. Can't do it. Run out of room, right? So we finally merge onto the highway. And I'm going for him. And he knows I'm going for him.
Yeah.
He starts going,
Slow
more
or fast?
faster than he
Okay.
should.
All right. Road rage.
Oh, yeah. And I'm whipping around cars, and I look, and I'm going like 95 miles an hour. And I'm like, I got to go faster. No. I slow it down. I'm not a crazy person. Holy shit, what am I doing? So I slow down.
Right.
But I don't stop looking for him. Up ahead.
Yeah.
He's lower. I'm coming down off the bridge. He's up there, but I can see him.
Yeah.
And he takes my exit. Which is on the way home. I'm sick, by the way. Sick as a dog. So this just set me off, right?
Crazy like a fox.
So I'm like, holy shit, I take my exit. I end up right fucking behind him again. And I'm wondering, like, does he know I'm behind him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I got to throw at his vehicle? Fuck, I forgot to say the first part of this story.
Not crazy.
I was sick. I went to the emergency clinic. They said it was a 2-hour wait. So instead of going to the doctor, I went to McDonald's.
Like you do.
And got the 2 sausage McMuffin deal for $3.
Prescription free?
Yeah.
Okay.
I ate one of them.
Oh, God.
Fast forward a couple hours. I've got a sausage McMuffin sitting right beside me, right? So I get that out of the bag, and I start unwrapping it with my one free hand. So, like, let's say 30 seconds. And in this adrenaline point, 30 seconds is like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Of me holding the sausage McMuffin,
my
waiting
God.
for my chance. And we end up going onto the regular road, which is like a 2-lane road. We're off of the highway. He's in the left lane. He stops at a red light.
Yeah.
He's got no one in the lane beside him. Right? He's in the left lane. I get in the right lane. And then to the right of me is the right turn lane. All are open.
Right.
So I pull up. I've got the McMuffin. I roll down my window. So I'm
Jesus
tossing.
Christ.
I'm tossing with my left hand. So I'm like, okay. I've always wanted to do this with a milkshake. I've always thought about like having a little plug that goes into the electrical socket that constantly keeps a milkshake cool just for moments like these. But I got the McMuffin, the sausage McMuffin. I pull up beside him. I see him turn right around and look at me, and that's when I throw it. Right against his right passenger side window. And it's like... I wanted like a piece of cheese to stick, but no, nothing stuck. But he got to see me throw that sausage McMuffin right after him. The sausage McMuffining. I look in the right turn lane. There's no one in there, so I turn, and that was it. That was the McMuffining.
Nothing else?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I was hoping like right when you got off and he took your exit, he had that truck window, the back window.
Yeah.
You're like, I beamed that motherfucker and it went and hit his radio.
No.
I turned off his tunes with a McMuffin.
I'll find him again. We'll see what happens.
I was hoping his window would be open.
The McMuffining.
No windows open.
The McMuffining.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. But on the way home, I was thinking about the milkshake, and I was like, we should make a window decal of Movies with Ron that's a splattered milkshake.
Hey.
All right.
Movies with Ron. There you go. All right. You're listening to Movies with Ron, the podcast where my older brother surprises me with a movie he saw because I don't go see him anymore. And he explains the whole thing to me from beginning to end. If you're listening right now, trust me, you'll like his versions better. It's okay if you've seen the movie. It's okay if you haven't seen it. The experience is unique, so just trust me. Rick,
Yo.
James Horner is dead. How's it going
How's it going?
getting in contact with him? Sorry to deliver that news. Yeah, he died like a couple years ago.
He hasn't answered yet.
Don't stop trying to talk to him. Do what it takes.
I see why it has been difficult. But you're right. I won't stop.
Hey, people are leaving reviews. I'm fucking excited.
All right.
Yeah, man. I'm sick. I'm fucking in a bad mood when I'm sick, but holy shit.
Yeah, we can tell.
The McMuffining.
It's going to turn out he's a fan.
I got McMuffin by Chris today.
He is going to find you.
We got a review from Sal Roma.
All right.
The title is The Solution for Rising Ticket Prices. And he says, although Movies with Ron has a simple premise of one guy describing an entire movie to his brothers, each episode is filled with interest and hilarity. There's been times when the Movies with Ron telling of a movie entertained me far more than a movie I disliked.
Hey.
He mentions Ghostbusters.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
A big appeal is that you can listen to the episodes whether you've seen the movies or not. It's still interesting if you've seen the movie, but if you haven't seen it, it's as if you have Ron sharing a bizarre bedtime story told just for you.
Whoa.
I've been listening for a few months, and it still amazes me how much detail Ron remembers from each movie he's seen, typically without notes and only seeing the movie once. Movies with Ron has become a Sunday tradition to sit back and have Ron tell me about the latest movie he's seen. Thank you, Sal.
Hell yeah, Sal. Thank you so much.
You rock, Sal.
Sunday tradition. Our show. Okay, here's another review titled Awesome
All right.
from Josh Durbin.
Hell yeah, Josh.
What's up, Josh?
He says, I love this show. Monday morning is my favorite part of the week when I can listen to the newest episode. They do such a great job keeping it captivating. I'm actually a little bit sad when it ends.
Aw.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Definitely makes time fly at work. It is good enough for them to charge money for, but graciously, for the time being, they are doing it for free. Let the hilarity ensue. Thanks, guys.
Aw.
You're welcome.
You are welcome, Josh.
Yeah, we are happy to turn the Monday frown upside down.
And thank you for that glowing review.
Yeah. New review number 3
Aha.
from Pandora D24.
Whoa.
If you're like me and have a ritual of reading through IMDb synopses before deciding if a movie is worth seeing,
I am.
do yourself a favor and make Movies with Ron your go-to recap resource instead. Not only will you never regret forking over $8 for a lousy night at the theater again, but you'll have a good laugh in the process. Maybe you'll even skip the flick altogether and binge listen 4 straight episodes instead. Speaking from experience, that's probably a better way to spend your time.
Oh, thank you so much, Pandora.
Yeah, thanks. So people, leave us some reviews.
Yeah, keep them coming,
Leave
guys.
a rating. They don't have to be that long. These people really like it, so, they put some thought into it. You could, write something in Klingon, and I'll read it on the show. Someone else will have to translate it. I'll still read it, though. Leave a review. We love you. You guys know those situations when a movie studio starts making a movie, and another big movie studio finds out what that first one is doing, and they're like, let's do one just fucking like it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
There has to be a name for that. Us as the audience noticing that shit, we have to give that a name.
I've always referred to it within my own mind as just Hollywood espionage. Like with The Abyss and Leviathan.
Yeah. Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Oh yeah.
Volcano and Dante's Peak.
Yeah.
Yeah. That fucking... I just thought of the best one where that ever happened.
Okay.
It happened in the 90s. In 1995, they made a movie named Larger Than Life with Bill Murray. And he played a motivational speaker. And his father dies, and he inherits an elephant from his father.
Okay.
And the whole movie is him taking the elephant back home.
Yeah.
It's like a road trip movie with a giant elephant. Bill Murray.
Sweet.
And then later that year,
Operation Dumbo Drop.
fuck yeah, Operation Dumbo fucking Drop. Ugh.
I loved that one, man.
The
As a
Battle of the Elephant movies.
I know.
That one was like Vietnam.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta, Dennis Leary, and Danny Glover.
I know.
What a
It
cast.
was like three kings with an elephant.
We gotta get this elephant. Gotta get him home. Too over this shit.
Gotta get him home, Riggs.
Hey, Riggs, you ever seen an elephant fly? I think they play that a lot in that movie. Because he flies. He's like parachutes in.
Yeah.
Okay, Brendan Fraser, real quick. His very first movie ever was in 1991. It's called Dogfight. It was like Dinner for Scoundrels.
Yeah.
But it was like two military guys. It's like a group of military boys, 18-year-olds, go find the ugliest girl
Okay.
and bring her to the party.
What?
It was like a River Phoenix movie.
Okay.
Anyway, it was Brendan Fraser's first movie, and his first line in movie history that he got paid for
Uh-huh.
on a feature film was, "How'd you like to eat my shit?"
What?
I don't know. I guess it's a bit part. He plays like a Navy bully.
Ugh.
How'd you like to eat my shit? That's what he got to say first
Oh my god.
in the history of movies. Brendan Fraser movies. All right. There's a new movie on Netflix coming out called The Discovery. You guys heard of it? It's got Rudy Mara and Jason Segel, big tall guy from How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Got it.
It's hard to describe because the preview has no dialogue. It's just all music, but afterlife is scientifically verified.
Okay.
And once that happens in this movie, people can't stop killing themselves. They just do it.
Huh.
They're like, all right, sweet. And they all kill themselves. And it's like Robert Redford runs this complex. I don't know if he's a scientist
Yeah.
or if he's doing something. But I think Rooney Mara and Jason Segel are like in a clinic.
Yeah.
Like they want to kill themselves. But it's all about, it's like a love story.
Okay.
I don't know. But if I wrote that movie, like the second act climax would be Robert Redford finding out that it's not verified. But we'll see. Anyways, I want to see it. It's called The Discovery. Look up the trailer, guys. Okay. So this new Logan movie.
Yeah.
Seen the new trailer to it? Trailer number 2?
I don't know.
Well, it shows you that in this movie, the X-Men comics exist. And it's like Wolverine flipping through an X-Men comic, and you see them in the blue and yellow spandex. And he's like scoffing at it, like, only about a quarter of this really happened.
I don't like that at all.
Oh, my God.
We did this joke. We did this joke in the first X-Men.
Marvel should have something to say about that.
Can we reboot
I don't
this?
think they can if it's X-Men.
We need a reboot. So
I knew this movie was going to suck.
That's dumb, man.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's only like 30 seconds. It's like a little joke to throw at people. But fuck you, whoever had that idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fucking up.
Let me recommend a movie. 'Tis the season to be sick.
Oh.
Getting colds. There's like a country nationwide cold thing that everyone has. And it sucks. It's killing me. And Ron,
Yeah.
you introduced something into our lives.
Yeah.
Something about there are movies that have almost holistic or telekinetic effects
Yeah.
that will aid the healing process when you are sick.
I am honored that you're bringing this up. Continue.
I had no choice. It's all I could think about. I wanted to watch a movie.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got the one.
Oh, I already know what you're
There
talking
were
about.
others,
Right.
but this is the one. It's Medicine Man from 1992 with
Yep.
Sean Connery.
Medicine Man.
Yeah. That is the movie. You watch it when you're sick, and it is cosmically connected.
Oh, yeah.
It establishes something. You know, the movie takes place almost entirely outdoors. It's all in nature. It's
all in the Brazilian rainforest.
Yeah, it's
So
about
it's all
scientists,
green.
doctors trying to find a cure for something.
I found the cure for the fucking plague of the 20th century, and now I'm lost it. I have watched this movie probably more than any movie I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah. I watched it every time I was sick.
but yeah, Sean Connery, he's a doctor trying to study some shit, but he's like stubborn and hasn't connected with whoever his employers are in like years.
Yeah.
And they finally get a random message from him that's saying, "I need an assistant
Right.
and some equipment or whatever." And so they send.
Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah. I heard anyone who doesn't like Medicine Man is because of Lorraine Bracco. But I love her. She's great.
She is great. The reason why they wouldn't like her is because she's so... Throughout the movie, she is what fights that holistic feeling
Yeah.
that you get from watching the movie. You watch this movie and you're like, this is beautiful. Sean Connery is awesome. You know, what he's accomplished in this movie is awesome. And then here's Lorraine Bracco from the Bronx.
Yeah. It's like two English-speaking characters, and they both have like these serious accents.
Yeah. And I love that movie, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Great scenery. It was all filmed. I don't know if it was all filmed on location, but it had to have been, you know? They had like real Aboriginal
Yeah.
tribes
All
in
the
it and
Amazon
everything.
forests and stuff.
Yeah, man. The music in it's great.
Mm-hmm.
The drama, you know, the climax. Man, that was a good scene.
Healing Properties. 1992. Medicine Man. Watch it.
Sean Connery with a ponytail
Yeah.
throughout. Doesn't cut it off like in The Rock. Yeah.
You know, I think he was bald. I think
Yeah?
That was all fake.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was. He's been bald a long time. I think he was wearing toupees in some of the 007 movies, right?
Yeah.
He's wearing my toupee.
It's too bad. Thought about doing a recap of that one.
Oh, you could still do it.
All right.
Ron, I know what you went to see.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's time.
Wait, you know? I don't know.
You went to see Split.
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. All right, got it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's time, man. It's time for M. Night to put up or shut up. Right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of this...
I gave up on him.
so many people have, man.
A lot of people said that last movie he did,
Yeah.
the
I never
Visit-
saw it.
The Visit.
Yeah.
They said it was like a return to form, but I saw M. Night, and I saw it was first-person view,
I didn't know that.
camera, found footage movie, and I was like, nope. But they say it's really good, and he's starting to like go back, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
read
he
the
lost me long ago.
I read the plot of that movie, and I was like, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. You're going back to form. That's cool. It's cool. You know, maybe you just haven't hit your stride again yet, though, because seemed a little weak. Sounded like his twist was very wah wah in that one,
Yeah.
but it didn't have Professor X in it. That's for sure.
What started with me hating his movies was he started giving himself bigger parts.
Yeah,
He did that lady in the water shit, and I was like, who do you think you are?
I was like that too, but it still kind of worked for me. I was still okay with it.
It's still, the movie had good intentions,
Yeah.
but
No, I enjoyed that one. I thought that was a good movie.
What are the favorites of the M. Nights?
I just like Unbreakable.
I like Unbreakable.
Oh yeah, that was always my favorite.
Yeah.
But Lady in the Water, damn. almost equal to me. I really enjoyed that story.
Yeah.
There's a strange thing with certain.
Paul Giamatti. He's a maintenance man.
Yo, experience love.
Yo.
Names are a big thing for movies for me. I will not go see a movie because if the name is just like doesn't kick it.
I wonder what the Edge of Tomorrow sequel is going to be named. That movie's title was a debacle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Shit.
I still like the other. I like the other one, the Live Die Repeat.
No.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
That would have caught me.
That is the damn tagline for the movie that is called Edge of Tomorrow. And they succumbed to peer pressure or something.
I heard.
They switched it. So the next one's going to be called Live Die Again. Something like that, you know? And that's dumb.
I heard they changed the title to Live, Die, Repeat. They tried to, but then they had to change it back to Edge of Tomorrow, and that was the whole problem.
Well, isn't the book called Edge of Tomorrow?
The book is called All You Need Is Kill,
Oh.
but you can't have the word kill in your movie title.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What about Generation Kill?
The fuck is that movie?
Well, it's not like you...
Did it matter?
Yeah.
All right. Give me a better one that mattered.
Kill Bill.
Yeah, screw it. Should have been All You Need Is Kill. All right.
Yeah. It's not like you can't have the word kill. It's just a lot of people shy away from it.
Okay, wait.
Especially big companies.
This might have been the fact of the words in front of it. All you need is.
Yeah.
That might be that's a debacle right there.
But, yeah.
It's probably had a lot more to do with Tom Cruise than anybody thinks anyway.
Edge
All
of
you need
Tomorrow
is kill?
2. It's going to be Edge of Tomorrow 2.
I am okay with that. Nobody does that anymore, and I hate
Yeah,
it.
because everyone who missed the first one is like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Oh, man. I hope Tom Cruise is in it.
Yeah, man.
I just watched that like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that good, folks. Go see it.
They fucking explained to him the whole thing of what he's going through. They give him like a whole hologram table that shows him all the aliens, shows him the Omega, and then they turn to him, and it's that moment where the music stops, and they're like, "You're gonna have to die over and over." And he just backs up a little, and he's like thinking, and he's like, "First of all, this is a terrific presentation." Yeah. And he points at the table. Then he starts backing away like, fuck this.
Yeah.
You both are crazy.
Yeah.
All right, you want to do it?
Let's see what you got, M. Night.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right, so we got a bunch of logos, and one of them is Blumhouse. You know what that is? That's that kind of new up-and-coming horror production company. They did Lights Out.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so it starts off at a birthday party for a bunch of girls. Bunch of, I don't know, 16, 15-year-old girls. And this one girl, Claire, it's her birthday party, and she's like, all right, party's over, and it's at some restaurant. And her friend Marcia is with her, and then her dad. And they're like, okay, well, we can't leave until everybody gets a ride home, And they're looking at this other girl, played by Anya Taylor-Joy from The Witch and Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like hanging around. No one's picking her up. And Claire is like, yeah, well, she's the weirdo in class, This is what you get when I have to invite everybody in class, And he's like, well, thought you wanted a party for your art class. She's like, yeah, but I didn't want to, invite everybody but her. So they're like, all right, let's drive you home. And she's like, yeah, okay. She's all weird. So they're all going out to the car. Claire and Marcia get in the back seat, and Casey, who is Anya Taylor-Joy, she gets in the front. Claire and Marcia are in the back seat just talking to each other. Nobody is paying attention to the dad, who is putting all the party stuff away in the trunk. And then he just turns to the camera, and he goes, oh, hello. And then it cuts back into the car, and all the girls are in there talking, and Casey's just sitting there staring off into space because she's a weirdo. And then the dad gets into the car, right? Klung, klung, klung. And they all look over, and it is James McAvoy. And this movie gets started right away. That's what I liked about this. And they're just staring at him. And then Claire in the back goes, excuse me, sir, you might be in the wrong car. And he's just staring forward. And he's breathing real hard. And then he just puts a surgical mask over his face and turns around and sprays this aerosol into their faces. And then they pass out. Okay? Just the two in the back. And then he just like takes his mask off and he's just still sitting there staring forward. And Casey is sitting in the passenger seat just like staring at him. And he's just staring forward, like trying to come to grips with what he has finally lost it and is now doing.
Jesus.
And her hand starts creeping towards the latch of the door, like real slow. And he's just like staring forward, staring forward. And she puts her hand on the latch and she is staring at him and he is not looking at her. And then all of a sudden she just real quietly engages the latch of the door and the car goes boom. And then he just turns and looks at her and she's just staring there. She's frozen in fear. And then he has time. She's so frozen that he just puts his mask back on and then sprays her in the face.
Jesus.
And then it just goes split. And then we get the opening credits. And all the credits, it's pretty cool. They show the credits in the center of the screen, but then behind it, you see like 23 different other versions of the same thing. So yeah, they're all split. Anyway, then they wake up in some underground compound, just like they did in the preview, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they're wondering what the hell's going on. And they're panicking. And then James McAvoy walks into the door. You hear it unlock, and he walks in. And he's wearing this like gray button-down shirt with black slacks, okay? And he's wearing glasses. And then he like grabs a chair, pulls it, and sits down and just stares at all of them for like 10 seconds. And then he points at Marcia, and he just goes, I choose you first. And then he grabs her and pulls her out. Everybody's screaming. Marcia is grabbing at Casey to try to, keep herself from being pulled away. And Casey just gets up into her face and whispers, pee on yourself. Pee on yourself. And then she gets dragged out of the room. The door slams shut. So then the door opens, and James McAvoy drags her back in, and he's all disgusted because she's covered in urine.
Oh,
So he throws her down, and then he leaves.
well, that worked.
It did work. So at that point, Casey gets a flashback of when she was a little girl hunting with her dad. You can tell she has no mom. And her dad loves her, and they're also hanging around with his brother, her uncle, who's big, funny Uncle So-and-so. Then back in the room, they're talking about how they can take him if all three of them attack this guy, James McAvoy. And Casey doesn't want to do it. Because she's like, I saw him throw you on the bed like you were nothing. Like one punch from him will knock any one of us out. And she keeps getting flashbacks of her hunting with her dad, and he's like teaching her life lessons and stuff about how, female deer will, they'll try to survive better than a buck, because a buck is all crazy during mating season, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see this therapist lady. She gets an email from some guy named Barry, who's like, I need to see you now. So he comes in and they meet, and it's James McAvoy. And he's wearing this, like, I don't know, weird stuff that some, like, New York fashion designer would be wearing. I don't know. Like big scarves and stuff. And he's talking to her, and he's walking around her office, and he's, like, rearranging the chocolate bowl and everything. And she's like, yeah, well, you emailed me, what's going on? Some kind of emergency. And he's like, oh, no, just normal stuff. I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed, and I just felt like I needed to talk to you, but everything's okay. I might have overreacted a little bit when I emailed you that. And she was like, oh, well, okay. And he's like, are you still fighting for us? And she's like, I am, Barry. The study that I'm doing on all of you is, it's gaining ground in the psychiatric community. And he's like, okay, well, I'll see you later. So then he just leaves. And then she's talking with a friend of hers, and her friend is like, yeah, I just can't believe you hang out with all these crazy people. Do you believe everything they say? She's like, oh, yeah. A lot of people, they think that people like that are broken, that they're less than us. But, let me ask you this. What if they're more than us? And the lady's like, what? So then back in the compound, the girls are freaking out in the room, and they're all scared. And they can hear a conversation happening outside the door between a woman and a man. And they look through the keyhole, and they see the bottom half of this woman wearing like a dress or whatever, saying like, where is she? I don't think you were supposed to do this yet. Where do you have her hidden? And then the guy's like, don't go in there. Don't go in there. And they start screaming, boom, 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 boom. Hey, we're in here. We're in here. And she's like, oh my God, Dennis, how many of them are there? And she opens up the door, and it's James McAvoy in a dress.
Yeah.
And they're just like, whoa.
Pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
With the voices.
Yeah, very well. Very well done.
Nice.
James McAvoy did great in this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
He's all right.
I like James.
Yeah.
So she looks at him and she goes, now listen, don't worry. He's not allowed to touch you, okay? He knows what you're here for. And they're like, oh my God. And then she leaves. Then the door opens up a little bit later and Dennis walks back in, who is the personality in the button-down shirt that was dragging the other girl out.
Uh-huh.
And he walks in and we learn that he is a neat freak, that he has like OCD because he gives them a whole bunch of cleaning products for the bathroom and he tells them like which surfaces in the bathroom each one is for. And he's like, all right, want to apologize for before. Okay? I shouldn't be doing stuff like that. That's really bad. I just want you to know that you guys are all here, you know, and I'm not going to mess with you anymore. Okay? You guys are sacred food. Okay? And they're like, what the hell? So then it shows Casey laying there sleeping, and they're like, the other girls are like, Casey, wake up. And she wakes up, and then some dude in the theater goes, man, she's asleep. So she comes to, and then she looks over at the girls, and they're sitting both on the same bed, and they're all scared. And then she looks over to the right, and there's James McAvoy sitting in the doorway, like looking at her, smiling. And he's like, my name is Hedwig. I'm 9 years old, and I have red socks. And they're like, yeah, okay. And Casey starts talking to him. She's like, what are we here for? Oh, you're here, okay? You're here for something special, and he is on the move. And he is coming for you. He's coming for you two over there. And he points at the other two girls. So Casey then starts talking to him again, and she's like, yeah, I heard something, actually. And he's like, what? What did you hear? And she's like, well, come here. And he's like, She's like, come here, I'll whisper it to you. And he comes up real close, and she goes, in his ear, she just goes, I heard that he's actually coming for you. And he like looks back at her like, like it worked, okay? And he's like, no. No, he only likes girls. And Casey's like, no, I heard while you weren't here, I heard Patricia and Dennis talking about how he likes boys now too, and that they're probably gonna let him have you. And he's like, no. And he's like about to cry, and he's like, Patricia said she's not mad at me anymore, okay? That she thinks I'm stupid, but that if I help them, I can hang out with them, and it's okay. It's gonna be okay. And Casey's like, is there any way out of here? And he's like, no, there's no way out of here. It took forever to make this place safe from all the busybodies here at my work, okay? And no, there's no way that you can get out of here. So then he's like, I gotta go. And he leaves, and he locks the door. And they're saying, whoa, okay, did you hear what he said? It took forever to make this place safe. Look around at the walls. This is all brand new drywall, okay? That means there was an exit here. He said that he had to make it safe. There was definitely an exit here, and he covered it up. Let's find it. So they start knocking on the walls and stuff, and they're knocking on the ceiling, and they find, there's a different sound in the ceiling, and they start ripping the drywall out, and they find a grate in the ceiling, like a big drain. Mm-hmm. So Claire, the birthday girl, starts climbing up into it, and the other two have to distract Hedwig and keep him from getting inside while she climbs up into the ceiling. Anyway, she ends up escaping, and she gets into out into this hallway that's full of all these pipes. Okay, like it's some sort of industrial area. Uh-huh. And finally, Hedwig busts in, only it's not Hedwig anymore. Now it's Dennis again. And he's like a grown man, and he's pissed off. So then now, Claire can hear him running after her, coming out into the hallway. And she looks over to her right and sees this big bay of lockers with all these different people's names on them, okay? And she's so scared, she just jumps inside of one. And through the grate, she sees him run past really fast. And she's all scared and trying not to breathe. And then he just shows up right in front of it. He's like, I thought I lost you. Okay, come out. Come on out. Yeah, you're not escaping. Come out. So she just comes out of the locker, and he's just standing there, and he's all winded, and he's like, now look at your sweater, okay? You got dirt all over it, all right? It's ruined now. Take it off. And you're like, oh. So she takes it off, and she is like this teen girl in her bra. And it's like, oh no, what's going to happen? And he's just like standing there staring at her. And then he just takes her and he throws her.
Genuinely creepy? Like rapey creepy?
It was very genuinely rapey creepy.
Okay.
So he takes her and he throws her into some storeroom. And then it cuts to him inside the main cell, and he's blocking up the exit with a piece of wood and some screws. And he's like, she is not going to be with you anymore. You're never going to see her again, actually. And now from all that drywall dust, your skirt is dirty and your shirt is dirty. So come on, take them off. It's not it's not going to be okay for him when he gets here. So come on, give him. And then Marcia has to take off her skirt, and she spends the rest of the movie in her underwear. Just like Claire spends the rest of the movie in her bra. And I'm like, M. Night, come on, man. Casey, who had to take her shirt off, is wearing like 5 shirts, so it's fine. That even gets mentioned by Hedwig later. Dennis says you wear a lot of shirts. So then we cut back to the psychiatrist, Dr. Fletcher. She's taking part in a panel discussion about multiple personalities, which is called DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder. And people are asking her questions about, how do you know what personality comes to light to speak and stuff, and can sometimes 2 of them come and do it at the same time? She's like, yes, that can totally happen. I had one patient who, when she had 2 different personalities take control at the same time, and they were each taking notes with different hands in different handwritings. It was pretty weird. Yeah. So this stuff is real. So it shows her meeting with Barry again. And she's like, there's something about you, Barry. Am I really talking to Barry? And he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, of course. Well, you emailed me again. Okay? For 2 emergency sessions in a row, and now you're telling me that it's, everything's fine again? I mean, we've been talking about fashion for 20 minutes now. What's going on? And he's like, no, I just woke up in a funny mood, and I emailed you, and I really did overreact. I just wanted to chat with you. And she's like, and we find out during this conversation that there are actually 23 different personalities within this guy's body. And the original guy, his name is Kevin. And she's like, I know there's a couple of personalities that I've never talked to because they were actually banned, okay? And within the group of personalities, whoever is controlling it, they call it being in the light. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I know there was actually 2 of them that were banned from the light, Dennis and Patricia. So I've never actually met them, and if you happen to be one of them, I would really be very interested to talk to you. You don't need to hide from me or anything like that. And they were banned from the light because of their beliefs, that they believe in this beast that you're talking about, that I hear about sometimes. And he's like, no, that's just crazy talk. Yeah, they're no good. Anyway, I gotta go, so I guess we'll just talk next week. And she's like, yeah, okay. And he leaves. And then we get M. Night's cameo. And Dr. Fletcher is sitting there with him, and he's like some little tech nerd. I guess he just runs the security room for the building that she works in. And she's having him pull up all the security video, and she's watching Barry leave the building. Sees that there's all these trash cans that are knocked over, and there's all this trash on the sidewalk. She's watching Barry, and he just walks right through all the garbage and leaves. M. Night's like, well, what's so weird about that? And she's like, well, here's the thing. Any normal person would definitely have walked around all of that trash. Okay? So him walking right through it, that's an act. Okay? And I think that was Dennis trying to look like he wasn't Dennis. Because Dennis wouldn't touch garbage with a 10-foot pole. He's so afraid of germs. And she had accused Barry of, you're rearranging the chocolate bowl. That's why I think you're Dennis.
Yeah.
Because he has OCD. Anyway, then it cuts back to Patricia in the room with the girls, and she's like brushing Casey's hair, and she gave him sandwiches and stuff. And she's like, yeah, it's going to be nice. You guys are going to look good for when he gets here. So here, and she puts flowers in their hair and stuff. She's like, now come with me and we'll have a proper meal. And she takes them into her kitchen. Like, she takes them out of their cell, down the hallway, past a couple more locked doors, and sits him in this little kitchen. And she's making more sandwiches for him, and she cuts one of them in half, and then slams the knife down and screams out, "I'm sorry, it's not straight," you know? And they're just like, ooh. And while her back is turned, Marcia signals to Casey, "Hey, I'm going to try to knock her down and let's run out of here." And Casey's just like shaking her head like, probably not the best idea. So Marcia does it anyway. Knocks her down with a chair and then runs. Patricia chases her down. She still has the knife. Blah, blah, you know, you're not going to see the light of day again. You know, you've always been so pure. You've never been in any pain. And that's why you're perfect meat for the beast. So then she locks her in another storeroom. So now they're all in separate rooms. Casey wakes up later and Hedwig is laying in bed with her. And he tells her about Patricia and Dennis and how they believe in the beast and all the things that he can do. He also tells her that Barry, the fashion designer guy, is actually the one who is in charge of the group of personalities. He's the one who decides who can step into the light and who can't. But it turns out that Hedwig has a secret power to be able to go into the light whenever he wants. And he can actually put whoever he wants into the light. And no one has ever known this except Patricia and Dennis. And they made a deal with him that as long as he helps them to go into the light whenever they want, that he can hang out with them.
Jesus.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Casey's still getting flashbacks of her hunting with her dad and her uncle, and her dad's teaching her how to shoot. Okay, so she's capable with firearms. So now there's another meeting with Dr. Fletcher, and she just calls Dennis out. She's like, "I know you're Dennis." Okay? And, you know, it's okay. You know, I really like you, Dennis. You know, she's like really good with dealing with him.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, and I think that you are necessary, okay? Whenever Kevin had his problems, you know, you were there to take over and help him out. And I just want you to know that you can trust me, because at any time I can just say Kevin's full name and bring him into the light, okay? But I don't want to hurt any of you, because that would hurt you, you know, if I just snatched you out of the light like that. And that, you know, it just wouldn't be very nice to do to you." And he's like, okay. Okay, I'm Dennis. And she's like, "I want to talk to you about something that happened at your work, okay? You know, the place where you guys work?" And he's like, "Yeah. Well, a while back, there was an incident where there was a class on a field trip to your workplace. And Barry told me that a couple of teenage girls actually walked up to you, and then one of them took your left hand and put it under her shirt, and the other one took your right hand and put it under her shirt. And Barry had said that, you know, he was pretty sure that they had done it on a dare or whatever. And then he said that, you know, you guys were fine. You know, it probably wasn't that big of a deal. And then I heard from other personalities that they were all fine too. But I have a feeling that it's not fine, is it?" And Dennis is just like, yeah, I don't know. And he's the one who, like, likes to take the clothes off of young girls.
Yeah.
So you can see his, like, wheels turning, and he might be starting to shake a little bit. And she's like, "I think this brought up memory of the abuse from your childhood." And he's like, "Yeah, you know, my OCD. A lot of times the only way to escape the attention of my mother was to have everything perfectly clean. So, yeah, when he was about 3 or 4 years old, that's when I came into being." And she's like, "Oh, okay. So I hear you believe in the beast." And he's like, "Yeah, I totally do. And he is, he represents the best of what humanity can be." Okay? Later, Hedwig has agreed to take Casey to his room, because he was telling her about how he likes to listen to music. And he's like, "Yeah, I have I listen to music on my CD player right next to my window in my room. So, you know," and she's like, "Well, maybe you could let me hear some music sometime." So he takes her in there and he walks over to his CD player, which is right next to a drawn picture of a window hanging on his wall. And then he turns on some music, and we get like this 2 or 3 minute sequence of James McAvoy dancing like a 9-year-old kid. And it is weird, man.
It's like pushing the weirdness.
Very much so.
Okay.
Casey's just looking at him like, man, you are crazy. Like at one point during the dance, he acted like he got like shot in the throat, and he was like pantomiming blood squirting out and like falling down and dying. It was so weird, man. So then she's like, "Is that your CD player?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm sorry. He's embarrassed. He's like, "It's not new." And she's like, "No, you just said it was next to a window." He's like, "Oh yeah, this one, just my window." And he like lifts it up, and there's another picture underneath it with the window open. He's like, "See, now it's open. Now it's closed. See?" And she's like, "Yeah, great." And he's like, "Wait a minute. Did you think that was a real window? Did you want to leave?" And he starts like freaking out on her, and she's like, "Nah, I guess." And he's like, "You can't leave." And he's like, I better take you back to your room." And she's like, No. You said you wanted to show me cool stuff. Show me around your room. Please don't put me back in there, okay? Show me something cool in your room." And he's like, "Fine. Okay, look at this." And he pulls out a walkie-talkie, like a professional one. And he's like, "Yeah, it belonged to Dennis. He doesn't even know that I stole it. Isn't that cool?" And she's like, "Yeah, does it work?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can totally listen to people talking, but you can't talk over it, okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, cool. Let me hold it." So then she starts turning knobs and hears people talking on it. And then she just starts screaming into it. "Help me. My name is Casey so-and-so. I've been kidnapped. I'm being held somewhere. I don't know where, but I need you to find me, okay?" Mm-hmm. And the guy on the radio is just like, "Come on, man. Who is this? You messing with me?" Then she turns around, and Hedwig is running at her with a baseball bat. So she has to fight him off. And then during the fight that they're having, he just turns into Patricia. So then she grabs her and drags her back into her room. And she's like, "Tonight is the night. The beast is coming. And Dennis will explain." So then she leaves the room and then comes back as Dennis. And he explains to her that the beast, he's the highest human evolution, and regular humanity is coming to an end. And he is coming for you tonight. So get ready. Okay? And as his back is turned, Casey finds a nail on the ground, so she picks it up. Then we get another flashback of her hunting with her dad and uncle, and she is asleep in the tent, and so is her dad. And her uncle walks up to her, and he's like, "Hey, Casey, come on, let's go play." And she's like, "Okay." And then she goes and follows him, and he's like, "Come on, let's play our game where we pretend to be animals." And it's like, And she's just standing there staring at her uncle, and he walks around some corner. And she walks around the corner, and there he is in his boxer shorts on all fours. And he's like, "Come on, animals don't wear clothes. Come on, take your stuff off. Let's play our game. This is our game."
Jesus.
Yeah. And he's like, "Come on, it's our game." And then the camera just stays where it is, and she walks out of frame like she's walking towards him. And it's just like, oh, Jesus. Then we cut to Dr. Fletcher, and she sees in her email that there are like 20 different emails from Barry saying, "I need to see you now, I need to see you now." So she just gets in a cab and drives to his work. And she ends up finding him walking out of this gate, like this wrought iron gate, and locking it up. And she's like, "Hey." And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" She's like, "I just got a whole bunch of emails, Dennis. I came to find, what's going on, make sure you're okay. And, if you have something to tell me, I'd really like you to just tell me, what's going on here." And he's like, "I lied to you before. When you asked me if I've ever met the beast, I totally have." And she's like, "Whoa, really?" And he explains his appearance, how he's got like really long hair and super long fingers, and his skin is like tougher than that of a rhino. Okay, and he can also like climb up like the sheer face of walls just with like the slightest friction, basically like Spider-Man. Okay. Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, that's great, but what about all the dark crap about him? How he eats the impure young. What the hell's all that about?" And she's like, "Let's go inside and talk about this." While they're in there talking, she gets the idea that, he might be becoming dangerous. So then she decides to leave, and she's like, "Can I use your bathroom?" And as she is saying this to him, hidden from his view, she is stuffing her handkerchief into, like, the hole of where the door lock goes of the room they're in. And she's like, "Can I use your bathroom?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's out there. It's around the corner." So she goes around the corner, and she's looking at these other doors, and they have latches on the outsides of them. So she opens one up and finds Claire laying on the floor of this storeroom in her bra, just like weak. So weak, almost dead.
Shit.
And Claire's just looking at her, and she's just like, "Are you real? Are you real?" And then Dr. Fletcher just starts crying because she can see that, yep, Kevin has gone way off the deep end this time. Anyway, she's just standing there crying with her hand over her mouth, and then up walks behind her is Dennis. And then he puts a rag over his face, then he gasses her. Okay, so then now Dr. Fletcher is out. And he grabs her and he's dragging her back into the room, and he lays her on the couch. And you're like, what's he going to do with her? Okay, so it turns out that Marcia is in a storeroom that is right next to Claire's. And Claire's like, yeah, hey, there's a lady here. Okay, it's like an actual lady. All right? And, so we need to be able to get out of here. Something's going on. Maybe things are going wrong out there. Look around for something that you can find. And I'm pretty sure when she had the door open, I saw a latch on the outside of this door. So look for anything that you can stick through the crack to undo the latch. Marcia finds a coat hanger and then, bends it into a big long hook and pushes it out through the top of the door, and then has to bend it down so that it will catch the latch. It's very unrealistic, but it shows her trying that. At the same time, Casey is having more flashbacks of her standing there and then her uncle walking up to her like, "Hey, Casey Bear, what's going on?" And then little Casey is just holding a shotgun, pointing it at him. And he's like, "Whoa, Casey, what's going on? Come on now, I'm your uncle. I'm going to tell your dad that you're not being nice." He also threatened her with that when he was like, "Come play with me."
Oh.
And she's just standing there, pointing a gun at him. And he walks up to her, and he's able to get it away from her before she fires. Then it cuts back to them trying, Marcia trying to unlatch the door, and it keeps almost catching it, okay? And all the while, Casey is using her nail to try to pick her own lock of her room. While she's doing that, we see her final flashback of her uncle walking up to her saying, "I'm so sorry, babe. It just runs in our family, Our dad died too. But don't you worry, I'm going to take care of you, okay?"
Oh, Jesus.
And Casey's just sitting there staring off into space. And then he looks at her and goes, "Oh, you're not going to give me any trouble, are you?" And it's just
God.
like, oh, no. At this point, Casey is, thinking about all this hard stuff. She's crying, and then she finally gets her door unlocked. So she gets out into this second room that is like the antechamber of her cell. And this is where Kevin and all of his different personalities hang out, okay? And that's where his computer is, and she looks on his computer and finds all these different video files, and they've all got different names.
Uh-huh.
And she starts playing other ones, and there's like him sitting there talking about Muhammad and stuff, and then there's another one, she finally clicks on Barry, okay? There was a girl named Jade who is a diabetic, and she's like, yeah, they say, that all the other doctors, besides Dr. Fletcher, say that we're all the same person, so it doesn't matter. Well, then how come I have to use this? And holds up an insulin needle. And Dr. Fletcher had been saying that she had found a patient that was blind but had two different personalities that could see. So she was like, oh, well, because of her belief system, she thought that her ocular nerves repaired themselves.
Uh-huh.
So there really might be something going on with this DID disorder, and that if the human body is capable of that, then maybe that's the kind of thing where that's maybe where we got our sense of the supernatural. So this is M. Night saying like, remember the supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, she starts watching Barry's video journal entries. And he's like, I got a real funny feeling that I am losing time. Okay? I don't know why. But I think other personalities are coming into the light, which is weird because I'm the one who decides, So I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess maybe I'll just go for a walk. And I'll just go check things out. And then he's like, and this is the end of this entry for today. And then he walks over to the coat rack and puts his keys on it. And then he puts a hat over it. And he walks out of the room. And then Casey just turns around, sees the hat, picks it up, and there's his keys. So she's like, yes!
Sweet.
So she uses the keys to get out. At this point, Kevin is no longer even in the compound. He is out in the real world, and he's at a flower shop buying flowers, okay? And during one of the conversations with Dr. Fletcher, she was like, yeah, I know all of you different personalities. You guys all hang out in one room in a circle of chairs. And then when one of you takes the light, you stand up in the middle. And I found out that this beast, whoever he is, he actually doesn't live there with you guys. He lives in a train yard, and that's because Kevin's father worked in a train yard. So, we see Kevin buying flowers, and then he goes to a subway station.
Uh-huh.
And as the train stops, he sets the flowers on the ground, and then he gets on the train. The train goes off, into some tunnel and then stops or whatever, I guess, for the night. And then he, bends down onto the ground, and his body starts click, clack, clack, clack. And you can tell he's changing somehow, okay? And, I was like, okay, so he's going to stand up, and he's going to have long hair with super long fingers and rhino skin. That is what is about to happen. And then he just stands up normally.
Really?
It's just him. And he just runs out of the train, and he gets on top of it, and he's running down, and then we see out the back of the train window, he's just running down the tracks out of the tunnel. And then it shows him running through the city. And other people are like, oh, what's going on? There's some security guards, and their dogs are barking, and you just see Kevin bare-chested running really fast through, wherever they are, and the dogs are barking, and he's creeping past people's yards, but he's like a predator now. Okay, he's like an animal running through the city.
Yeah.
And then he starts running back towards the compound.
Yeesh.
Now we see Dr. Fletcher has woken up, and she's all dizzy. She's still pretty hungover from whatever he did to her. And she gets up and she starts scribbling down something on some piece of paper. She's writing a note. And then Kevin walks into the room, and he's behind her. She turns around and looks at him. And then we see a clear view of him for the first time. And it's just James McAvoy, but his whole body is covered in puffed out veins. His whole body. It is weird. He looks like a monster now. Okay? But
CGI kind of stuff?
Yeah, makeup.
Oh.
But every vein in his body is now visible and pooching out. So that definitely something has happened to him. Okay? He hasn't turned into this huge monster, but there's definitely something to be said for what she was saying about them being able to change their body chemistry somehow. Yeah. And then he just says to her in this really calm voice, he's just like, thank you for helping us until now. And then he walks up behind her, and then he puts his arms around her like he's going to hug her from behind. And she picks up a knife from the table and then starts stabbing it at him from behind her back.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden the blade just breaks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then he just squeezes her to death. And she falls down dead. So now we cut back to Casey, who's running through the compound. She's got her keys now, right? She opens up the first storeroom door and sees Marcia laying on the ground with her stomach all ripped open and her guts hanging out.
Whoa.
Okay. So then she goes to the next room, opens it up, and then sees Claire laying there. But she's, you only see her face laying out from behind some shelf. And she's like, Claire? And Claire's like, hey, help me. Help me. And then Claire gets dragged back behind the shelf. So he's in there, okay? So then Casey creeps into the room to look and see what's going on. And yep, James McAvoy is in there, bent over this girl Claire, eating her. So then Casey just runs back out of the room and latches it shut and traps him in there. Then she starts running. Okay, she makes it into the room where she finds the dead Dr. Fletcher. Then we see that the beast now just walks up to the door, is trying to open it. Oh, there's a big deadbolt on it, and he just pushes it real slow until it bends and the door opens anyway.
Jesus.
What?
So she's in that room, and she sees the doctor and then looks over and sees this note that she wrote, okay? Now behind her we see Kevin come into the room, or the beast, as it were.
Uh-huh.
She reads the note, and the note just says, it's scribbled really like she was drunk or like it was a kid. It just says, say his name, Kevin Wendell Crumb.
Oh.
So she turns around and sees James McAvoy starting to climb up the walls of the room
Oh, shit.
like Spider-Man.
All
And
right.
he's climbing up on the walls. Now the walls are like stuccoed, okay?
Is this good? You like
yeah.
what's happening?
Oh
here?
yeah, man. It was
Yeah.
like, oh my god. Okay.
Scary?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. So he's like walking around on the walls, on his hands and feet. Okay, he's not like walking.
Uh-huh.
So he's like climbing around on the walls, and then he's like climbing up to the ceiling and into the corner of the room, and she's just totally frozen with disbelief and fear, okay? So then she does it. She says it. She goes, Kevin Wendell Crumb. And he like looks back at her, and she's like, Kevin Wendell Crumb. And then he just falls off of the wall, and he's down on the ground, and he's like, like it's doing something to him. And then he gets a flashback to his own mother going, Kevin Wendell Crumb, you have made a mess. Get out here right now. And then it's like his POV from under a bed. And then, the covers lift up, and then her face is there, and she's all mean, and she's like, Kevin Wendell Crumb, get out here. She's like reaching in to grab him out. And then it just shows Casey's in the room, and she is looking at Kevin, and then he just stands up real slow. And he looks at her, and he's like, hey, who are you? And she's just staring at him. And he's like, oh, what's going on? Did I do something? Did I do something to you? And she's just staring at him. And then he looks down and he sees Dr. Fletcher, who is like the only person who has ever helped him. And he's like, oh my God. Oh no. Who did this? And she just goes, you did. And Kevin's like, oh no. Oh God, oh God. Okay, listen to me. I bought a shotgun, all right? I bought a shotgun. It is in the chest behind you, okay? It's hidden underneath a bunch of stuff. Nobody else knows about it, okay? The shells are in my locker out in the hallway, all right? Kill me,
Yeah.
all right? Please kill me. I need you to kill me, okay? And then,
I like this.
yeah.
Shit.
And then he starts cycling through his other personalities. And they're like, don't listen to him. He can't handle what's going on, okay? He's never been able to handle stress. And it's the diabetic chick, like, you just don't even listen to him. Everything's going to be fine. And then all the others start talking, when so-and-so was doing this, everything turned out fine, everything's going to be okay. And they start, like, trying to reason with her. And she just turns around and starts digging through the chest and grabs the shotgun. She turns around, and then it's Hedwig standing in front of her, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, he doesn't know that it's not loaded, so they're all scared, okay? And then it's Patricia, and she's like, whoa, honey. All right, easy. I'm not going to hurt you. It's fine, okay? And so they're all coming out, like, one after another. Anyway, she's got this shotgun, and she just ends up running, okay? Runs down the hallway, that same hallway with all the pipes in it, and then she finds that bay of lockers that Claire was hiding in. She looks at the lockers, and one of the names is Crumb. Mm-hmm. So she opens it up, she's digging through the locker, and then she finds a box of shotgun shells. So now that we know she is proficient with guns, she just starts loading this shotgun.
Yeah.
Now there's the Beast, and he's chasing her down the hallway. So she's running, and there's like, it's like in sections of dark and light. And she looks back down the hallway, and he's like crawling at her on the ceiling.
Okay.
And every time he gets to a light bulb, he smashes it. And then he keeps coming. So the darkness is like coming for her.
This is fucking crazy.
He ends up biting her, and, she runs. She gets down to the end of the hallway. She's still having flashbacks of her uncle, after her dad died and stuff. And, the Beast is like climbing around these pipes in the ceiling and stuff, and he's like yelling stuff at her about how, he only wants impurity to eat. Only those who have suffered are worthy. Only the broken, like mentally, are even worth anything. Everybody else on the planet has just been asleep if they've never suffered in their life. Okay, so then all they are is meat for the Beast.
Yeah.
So he's yelling at her and stuff. She ends up locking herself in this another weird cage. Okay, but it's like a cage with bars. Uh-huh. Okay, and you're like, for like the 5th time in this movie, you're like, man, where are they?
Are they at his work?
They're at his work, okay. And that is all that is ever said.
All right.
Okay. Now, Dr. Fletcher constantly says, like, yeah, there was an incident at your work. The place where you work. I hear you're doing really well there. Okay, but that's all you ever hear.
Yeah.
You're like, where the hell does this go? And there's like a field trip that comes to it, to this weird industrial area. You know, what's going on here? So she locks herself into this like prison cell, okay? And then he's like yelling at her, and he's like, that gun you have is not going to stop me. It is not even going to penetrate my skin. And she just like, he's like running past a doorway and everything, and you know, he's still like evading her kind of. Anyway, she looks down and she has got 2 shells left because she's been firing at him and missing. And she loads it up, and then she points that shotgun, and he starts coming at her, and she fires, and he like goes down for a second, and then he just gets back up and keeps coming. And it's like, whoa, dude, yeah, he's got rhino skin. And she fires again, and then he goes down, but then he runs back out of the room, okay? And he's coming back at her, and as he's walking towards her, you see that she did hit him. Like, he is wounded. One on his leg, and then one on, you know, his chest or his shoulder somewhere. But they're not like full-blown shotgun wounds. You know, like, he is not dying. He is going to be okay.
Yeah.
He you know, he's just like bleeding a little.
Yeah.
And he walks up to the bars, and he opens his mouth, and he's bleeding from his teeth. So, like, okay, maybe she did do some internal damage. And he reaches his hands onto 2 of these bars that his face is between, and then he just starts growling and pulling them apart, and they start moving. Yeah. He is bending prison bars. And he's like, rah! So, remember, she bit him, or he bit her, so she, like, rips a part of her shirt off to, like, wrap around her leg or something like that, and then he's looking at her body. So now she's down to, like, the last little tank top that she's wearing, and we find out why she was wearing all these different shirts throughout the movie, and her body is covered in scars, okay, that either she has inflicted onto herself or her uncle did to her. Some of them even look like tic-tac-toe games, okay? So, you know, she's been abused hardcore, okay? Now the Beast sees this, and he looks at her. He's like, you are different. You are pure. You have been in pain. You have suffered. Rejoice! Rejoice, for today is your day. And it's just like, what the hell? And he's like, he's not going to kill her. He doesn't want her dead now.
Yeah.
Because she's just like him. You know, she's a broken person. And then he just turns around and leaves. Runs away. Leaves her alone. So she's there, God knows how long, okay? She's, you know, there for hours or whatever. And she is just sitting down on the floor against the wall behind this locked, you know, gate. Mm-hmm. And then, some guy, some normal guy who works wherever Kevin works, just comes walking in. You know, he lights up a cigarette and he's just like, ugh, all right. And then he looks over to his left and he sees this little girl sitting in there with a shotgun. And he's like, what the hell? Hey, what are you doing in here? And she just looks at him. And he's like, how did you even get down here? How did you even get in here? And she's just staring at him, and he's like, oh my God, okay. And he sees she's hurt, so he's like, all right, come on, let's get you out of here. He opens up the cage door, and he's walking her up the stairs. They go upstairs, and they start passing by other cages, and there's like this one room with a window on it. She looks in the window, and there's a bear in it, okay? Uh-huh. And then they keep walking, and they're walking through another area where there's like a big old tiger in a cage. And they walk out of this building, and they're in the zoo. And he's got her, and he walks up to this, like a dispatch desk, and he sees this other security guy behind the glass, and he's like, hey, Joey, you know, I just found this girl. She you know, she says she was attacked down underneath the zoo, okay? And other people are hurt, you know? Call the police, man, call the police. And then this guy, like, looks down at her, and he gets this look on his face like, oh, you were that girl I was talking to on the radio. Oh,
shit.
Yeah. And he's like, all right. And then it just cuts to, you know, cops storming the zoo. Okay. And turns out that underbelly that they were stuck in was just maintenance.
Yeah.
For the zoo.
How long have they been down there?
I don't know. Days, weeks, who knows? They didn't really even say.
It's like a part that no one goes to anymore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, he was like, it took forever to make this safe from all the busybodies at work.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously he was doing something to make sure that nobody walked down there. So it shows the cops down in his little compound, that he built, and they're walking through all these different rooms, and every room is the bedroom of another personality. It's weird. They're like in Hedwig's room. They're in the fashion dude's room. It's strange. They're looking all over for traces of anything going on. You know, they find the girls' bodies and everything. They do not find Kevin. He is not there. So then Casey is sitting in a cop car. She's sitting in the back seat. And then she hears this policewoman say, yeah, Casey Cook's guardian is here. And then she like looks at the cop like, oh, no. Okay. And then the cop bends down in to look at her, and she's like, hey, your uncle's here. You know, are you ready to go? And Casey's just staring at her. And you can tell that she's got this internal battle going on. Do I tell on him now, or do I just keep being abused?
Yeah.
And then it just cuts away. And it cuts to some abandoned house in the middle of whatever city they're in. And the camera is just like walking in through the front door and going up the stairs, and you see some drops of blood on the floor. And you can hear Dennis, Patricia, and Hedwig all talking to each other, trying to decide what to do now. And then it finally shows Kevin, and he's like just like looking in the mirror. And all three of them are having this conversation. And it's just him doing all the voices in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, what do we do? And then Patricia's just like, we just believe in him, okay? We let him lead now, okay? Because look at what he can do, you know? And it shows Kevin like looking down at his wounds, but we don't see the wounds. So it's like he's healed them or something like that. You know, we are not quite sure.
Yeah.
But that was the big thing, is like, look at what he can do. Like, look at what we are now, that he is in control.
The Beast.
The Beast. And so Dennis and Hedwig are just like, yeah, all right. And they're all excited, okay? So then it just, it cuts away. And then we see some little diner. And in the diner, you know, everybody's eating and stuff. And, you know, there's no familiar characters there or anything. And there's, the news is on the TV in the corner. And the news is telling all about, you know, the suspected murderer, Kevin Crumb. You know, he's on the loose. And it turns out that he is he's afflicted with dissociative identity disorder, and there are as many as 24 different personalities in his mind, and he's considered dangerous and everything. And it's even confirmed from a person close to the source that one of his personalities is that of all of the different predators in the zoo where he worked. Yeah, so that's what the Beast is. They're like, yeah, you know, with all of these different personalities within one body, people are dubbing him the Horde. That's what his name is. You know, they're calling him the Horde. And in the diner, there's other people. They're all watching the news. And then this girl at the end of the counter is like, the Horde? Huh. That's weird. This is just like, you know, some years ago, this is just like that crazy guy in the wheelchair that they caught and put away. They gave him a funny name, too. What was it? And then the camera pans around her to the guy sitting behind her, and it's Bruce Willis. And the camera pans up, closes in on him, and Bruce Willis says, Mr. Glass.
Oh my God.
It's a sequel to Unbreakable.
Wow. That is cool.
All right.
Okay. I'm down.
Right?
Yes.
It does the same thing Unbreakable does.
My God.
The reason why it's good, and I like this one, it's like a first act stretched out. You know, it sets you up
Yeah.
for a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Unbreakable did. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. I guess if he's gonna like keep making these,
I don't know if he's going to keep making them. I think a little bit of this is M. Night going, you guys like superheroes, huh?
remember when I did that?
Yeah.
I did it really good.
I did it before it was cool.
Yeah.
You guys like realistic superhero movies, do you? I think this is him like pissing on everybody's leg, you know?
Yeah.
I did it first.
That's still a cool idea for a supervillain. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Glass, now it's time for the Horde.
Yeah.
Did we see what happened to Casey?
Nope.
Oh, man.
You know, I don't know if there was any stingers after the credits. I just left. That's not an M. Night thing, so I didn't even wait around.
Yeah.
I was waiting for, like, Casey to be sitting in the diner, covered in veins. He's just like, Yes, rejoice.
You know, I was like, yeah, she's going to join him or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
not like she was going to vamp out like him, but maybe she was going to be his girlfriend.
I liked it. I liked the her scars ended up being her biggest protection.
Yeah,
It's pretty on the nose, but still powerful.
definitely. So, yeah, man, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Looks
That's
like
cool.
the world likes it, too. It's got like a 70-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
His next movie better have Bruce Willis in it.
I know. I was
This
like,
better not be like a
better not be a one-off thing. Like,
I would be intrigued. I'd have to check this out.
yeah, man. It's, you know what? Even here in the recap, you guys should watch this movie just to see James McAvoy doing all this crap.
Yeah.
Because he brought it.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. In the previews, I really was like, yeah, oh, really? Okay, James McAvoy gets to act, 12 different ways, and then we're all supposed to be impressed. Like, it's called acting. Now I'm a little boy. Now I'm in a dress.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? He brought it. He did it good.
Brought his acting thunder.
Yep, he brought the thunder.
Okay.
Good flick.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you have it. Split on Movies with Ron. And
Good job.
now I am I'm a fan again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, sir, Mr. M. Night.
All right, everybody. It's been fun.
All right, love you guys.
Take care.
Movies with Ron.
Hey, you know that Charlie Sheen movie where he's like, I got tattoos where they show.
Yeah, it's called Cadence.
Man, I was so young when I saw that movie, but that's all I remember.
Yeah.
He got like 8 balls tattooed
Yeah.
onto the tops of his hands. I just now realized that wasn't because he was just a drunk dummy. It's because he wanted to get thrown out of the military.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you can't cover those up. They are tattoos where they show.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to get kicked out. I never realized that.
Wow.
What was it called?
Cadence. That
Cadence.
was a good movie.